Hi, this is Mr. Fleming, and this video is going to talk about color. And this one I'm going to do for all my classes. And because of the new hybrid model and this remote learning, we've been doing the art class mostly in our sketchbook, and for the most part that's been the successful part of it. And we've had some good projects done, and I'm not displeased with the work ethic coming from my classrooms. I'm very pleased with it, as a matter of fact, for the most part. But color we did in the beginning of the year with all the classes, and I have a handout, and I expected certain exercises to be done in the sketchbooks, and I think most of them have done it already. I'm going to go back to those exercises, and these are drills, and these drills should be done regularly. There are drills that I do all the time. They're a lot like playing scales on musical instruments, or a push-up for a football player or a basketball player. They're just repetitive motions that we do to build muscle memory, so that when we go to use the tools of art, they're at our fingertips. So let's talk about the color wheel just a little bit, and I'm really going to focus in on just the key areas that I want to. One is complementary colors, and these are colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, like red and green, and you might see these colors around Christmas time. They invoke a certain amount of energy because the colors actually bounce off each other. They don't blend at all. And if you were going to blend them, you'd get a gray. They wouldn't mix at all. But next to each other, you get great excitement. But making sure that there is some sort of dynamic line that separates the two colors can really make a visual interest. Not just putting the colors next to each other, but accentuate the energy that the color is trying to create by itself. So the obvious ones are orange and blue, red and green, yellow and purple. Of course, red, blue, and yellow are our primary colors. But really, any color directly opposite on the color wheel will have this effect. But you've got to know your colors, color intensity, and your application of color. That's also important. Now, over here, I did a little demonstration of tone. And we did a fish drawing in class in which we talked about gradation of tone creating atmospheric perspective. But that gradation of tone doesn't have to be just with black and white. You can use a simple color, one color, and make it monochromatic and make a very nice field. Also, this is around Christmas time. If you try and do a snow field using mostly white and a little bit of blue, is really very, very effective. Now, I want to talk about analogous colors too. Now, this has to do with the application of color. A lot of students are resistant to the idea of mixing color. They want to put red, then they want a pencil that says red-orange, they want a pencil that says yellow-orange, and a pencil that says yellow. And I'd like you to practice blending the colors. Now, analogous colors, they give a different feel than complementary colors. They're much more harmonious, much more peaceful, and they work very, very nicely if you're trying to relay an emotion of calm, serenity. Those work very well. So in your sketchbook, I should see some color exercises. Let's very quickly go through it, because I am getting some complaints about, it takes too much time and my hand hurts. And I want to go through some of the basics. So over here, we're going to do the purple, and applying the color down to the surface of the paper. Notice that I am not going a back and forth hatch mark. I want you to try to apply the color slowly with layers and blending right from the beginning. Although you can use the hatch mark, I think the circular motion works much better if you're trying to blend colors together. Now, looking at that color, it looks a little grapey to me. So you've got to increase the color intensity to remove the white of the page, which is turning the color or reducing it with a tint. White is a tint in color language. There's always a vocabulary to a subject. And there's my true purple. Now I'm going to put my true purple on my color wheel over here. And again, using that circular motion. And then I'm going to try to bleed that color over here to my red. I'm going to read over here to my blue. I think we really need to do some mixing of colors. I do want you to understand the colors. I have a lot of people that can repeat the vocabulary beautifully. But I'm not seeing a lot of color in people's sketchbooks, and when it is there, it's not really being applied thoughtfully. And I want you guys to be much more thoughtful about your application of color. What I'm going to do is bring my red into my purple field. And I'm going to make that a red-purple. I'm going to put the blue into my purple over here, make a blue-purple. I guess my point here is it really doesn't take a lot of time. And when you're home 3 days a week, I've been asking for 3 hours of work when you're home. I have 2 days in studio, but I think that's fair. And I know you have other classes, but really, it doesn't take that much longer just to sit down. So as far as analogous colors goes, I should mention that is any 3 colors. You can go to 4 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So over here, we would have red purple, a true red, a red orange, and down below we could have a blue green, a green, and a yellow green. And again, there are so many color systems to talk about. These are just the bones, the very basic bones. But if you get these fundamentals down, all your art can be improved. So I'm looking for color sketches for the next 2 weeks. And even when you're home. Now, this is your sketchbook, and I know in the beginning of the year, I also gave you a color wheel, but thumbnail sketches, color sketches in your sketchbook, I'd like to see that happen a bit more. So, make art, because art won't make itself.